Hello and welcome. In today's video, I'm so excited to do my own tag, all about the eyeshadows tag video. So if you want to join in, I will leave the questions down below that I'm going to be answering. So if you like this kind of content, make sure you stay tuned. Hello and welcome, my friends. New or returning, so glad you're here. So I was thinking this morning, I woke up at like 3 something this morning because I couldn't sleep. Like, really? Anyways, and so I was like, I don't know, these ideas kept coming up in my head, and I was like, I just watched Samantha March's makeup declutter tag and did that one, and then I was like, you know what, I love tag videos, so I wanted to come up with my own. Now again, I'm sorry, I don't know if this has been done by anybody, but I did try to come up with my own ideas. So hopefully, I apologize if I do find that it was, started or somebody else has done this and I find it. I will definitely, give them credit and link it down below, and link that person. But as far as I know, no one else has done this specific tag that I'm doing. So it's just going to be random, just all about eyeshadows. And I know people have done versions of this, but, hopefully mine's a little bit different. Anyways, if you like this kind of content though, make sure you give this video a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below, turn on all notifications. Otherwise, let's just get into it because I can't wait to talk about eyeshadows. Yay, my favorite topic. Here we go. All right, so I do have to look at my list here just because, again, I just made this up, a few hours ago when I couldn't sleep. So so the first question that I have, and I have 20 questions altogether. So because it is several questions, I'm going to keep this pretty simple and just show you the palettes. I'm not going to do swatches, anything like that. If I have a chance, I will insert swatches of palettes that I have swatches of. But again, just to keep this from being too long, I'm going to eliminate that part of it. So question number 1, what is your favorite purple eyeshadow palette? So for me, I love purples. Purples are my favorite color. And yeah, so my favorite purple eyeshadow palette at this point is ABH Norvina, the volume 5. And I know I've talked about this. And again, it's not all purples, but these are my tones of purples. So if I want, a purple eye look, this is what I'm going to reach into. So I love this palette. It is gorgeous. My favorite purple eyeshadow palette at this point. So, and there's a lot of different textures in there. They're very, very pigmented. Love this palette. Ever since I discovered it last summer, it's been one of my favorites. So I love that palette. All right, the next question, what is your favorite pink eyeshadow palette? Again, if you can't tell, these are just some of my favorite colors. So now what I picked for this is there were a couple of options I could have done. What I chose for this, and hopefully this is pink enough, is ColourPop Rock Candy. Again, you could say it kind of has purplish tones too, but I think these are more pink. But for me, this is like the perfect pink eyeshadow palette. These are my tones of pinks. I love a little bit more muted, light, you know what I mean? Just softer pinks. This is my color story. So yeah, so if I had to choose a pink palette, this would be my pink palette. And I love the tones in here and the textures. Very, very pretty. All right, so question number 3, what is your favorite green eyeshadow palette? Now I had to think about this. I almost picked the ColourPop Just My Luck because I did do a review on that, did a look with it. It turned out really, really nice. But if I'm really honest, Anastasia Beverly Hills Nouveau palette, these are my shades of greens. Like these lighter greens, a little bit more grungy, but like muted greens. This is what I'm gonna go for. Now I know it's not a completely green palette, but these are the colors of greens that I gravitate towards, that I really, really enjoy. So this would be what I choose for my green eyeshadow palette. So yeah, so that's just my choice. All right, the next question is your favorite grunge eyeshadow palette. Now this was a no doubt, just a brand in general, is Melt Cosmetics. They just, if anybody does grunge, they do grunge. So the one I chose though, which just gives me grunge all the way, is the Gemini palette, the original. This is a total grunge palette to me. And even the Gemini 2 is a more reddish grunge look to me. But yeah, if I want a grunge look, this is Melt Cosmetics is what initially just immediately comes to my mind. So that is what I would choose for my grunge eyeshadow palette. All right, question number 5. Which brand has your favorite matte formula? Now that was a little bit tough for me because I think a lot of them do mattes really, really well. But if I'm being completely honest with myself and just who I would think does mattes really, really well, 2 brands came to mind. I cheated a little bit, but Natasha Denona, I just love her mattes and I think they just blend really, really well. There's just so many different formulas in here that I really, really enjoy with her, and I just think her mattes blend out really, really well. But another one that I think really does mattes well is Sydney Grace. I think her mattes are just beautiful. They blend so well. They're easy to work with. I love her matte formula. So I cheated a little bit, but Natasha Denona and Sydney Grace are probably 2 of my favorite like matte eyeshadow, formulas. So, all right. So the next question is like, which brand is your favorite metallic formula of eyeshadows? So again, I think for me, metallics, I love the way Sydney Grace does her metallics. I think they just have a lot of pigment. They're smooth, so if you have more mature eyes, I don't think they emphasize anything. They just blend really, really nice. They're just very impactful and so pretty. I love her metallic formula. So I would have to say Sydney Grace would be my choice for that. Yeah, Sydney Grace is my choice for metallics. So like your everyday kind of metallics, All right, what is your favorite cool toned eyeshadow palette? Hopefully it's cool toned enough, but the one that came to mind for me is Huda Beauty's Rose Quartz. Now it's probably got a little bit of a mixture, but it is a very nice like cool toned. I think a lot of it is very cool toned or is cool toned. So this is, kind of my favorite cool tone palette. I do have a lot of cool tone palettes though, but I just love this palette and I had to be able to include it somehow. And so I think there's enough cool tones in here for it to qualify. So that's my choice. All right, so the next one is, what is your favorite warm toned palette? So for me, I feel like I had 2 choices. Who did I pick? Oh, okay, yeah, yep. So this is the one I had 2 choices. I picked, again, Natasha Denona. So the bronze palette I think is one of my favorites for warm tone. It just screams warm tone. Like, that's just warm. There you go. So Natasha Denona, the bronze palette. But the other one that came to mind as far as a warm tone that I really like is Patrick Ta, the Major Dimensions 2, the Rose Edit palette. I think this is beautiful. I love these tones. Definitely warm, you know what I mean, your warm rosy tones, but I love his take on the rosy tones that they're, with the more warmth to them. So, and these mattes are beautiful too. I have to say these are a beautiful matte formula as well. So if I had to give mattes a shout. So. All right, next, what is your favorite neutral eyeshadow palette? Now this one was a little bit harder because I feel like a lot of palettes are like kind of a combo of like neutral, neutral warm, neutral, neutral cool, that kind of thing. But what I chose, let me see if I can find it. So what I chose for my neutral eyeshadow palette is ColourPop's Going Coconuts. I think this is just a beautiful palette. It seems more neutral to me. I don't think it leans too cool or too warm either direction. I think it is a nice neutral palette. So this is probably one of my favorite still palettes of ColourPop's. So love this palette. So that's what I would choose for my neutral eyeshadow palette. The next one is, what brand or eyeshadow brand has your favorite multichromes, or do you think has like the best multichrome formulation? And I'm going to go all the way with Clionadh Cosmetics. If anybody does multichromes, it's indie brands, and I think Clionadh Cosmetics kind of started it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like if I think of like who really brought multichromes, you know what I mean, to everyday people, or just in general, I think of Clionadh Cosmetics and just who does it the best. I mean, there's a lot of brands that I think do wonderful multichromes, but I don't know, when I think of just all multichromes, I think of Clionadh. I don't know, it's just who I think. I think they have beautiful multichromes. I love their formulation. I even just love the way their presentation. Like, I mean, look at this palette. Like, I know it's from their stained glass collection, but oh my gosh, this palette is just beautiful. But I mean, just even the embossing in their shadows, and then the, the pan, I don't know, it has a beautiful presentation. So I just love Clionadh Cosmetics. I think they do multichromes amazingly. All right, what is your favorite jewel toned eyeshadow palette? Now this is a newer one to me just because I don't want to say I don't have any jewel tone, but this really just caught my eye and I really love it. I know it's newer, but Simply Posh, the Genuine Gems palette, if I think of jewel tones, I mean, it basically has jewels in the name. You know what I mean? Like, this is the definition of jewel toned. So, and I like this too because it's a little bit more unique because you've got your duochromes in the center there instead of just regular, you know, like metallic shades or whatever. The fact that these are all duochromes, I think just gives it that extra little, you know, something special. So yeah, that's what I would choose for my jewel tone palette. What is your favorite rainbow eyeshadow palette? Now this one was a little bit harder just because, I mean, I have some colorful ones, but I don't know how many rainbow ones I necessarily have. This again is newer to me too, but I know I love the formula. So Blend Bunny Cosmetics, the Primal. Again, it is newer to me, but when I think of like a rainbow palette, I think this is very, very well laid out. I love the transition from like lighter to medium to darker colors, and it has a white and a black. I mean, like, I just think this entails like rainbow to me. So yeah, so if I had to choose a rainbow palette, it would be this one. All right, the next one is your favorite colorful eyeshadow palette. Now I know, I mean, you could put them both in the same category, but to me, it can still be colorful, but not be a rainbow, like not cover every color in the rainbow. You know what I mean? So to me, the one that I really like that does color, that's colorful, but the kind of colorful that I like is Sugar Drizzle, the Sugar Dreams palette. This is my idea of colorful. Like, I love these. I can work with all these tones. I can still use these in my everyday life. They're not too, you know, too just like bright and bold, you know what I mean? But yeah, I love these. And just the fact that there's multichromes and duochromes and that kind of thing that they shift in here. So, so pretty. But I love this color story. So yeah, that would be my colorful palette. All right, the next question is which is, let me see, number 14, your newest eyeshadow palette brand. So the newest brands, I kind of cheated because there's actually two brands that kind of like came about the same time to me that are new. And I've talked about them recently, but I have MBA Cosmetics, which is an indie brand, the Vintage palette. That's new to me. This is a brand new brand to me. First time I've ever tried them. And I have their Smaller Toil and Trouble palette as well, but this is new to me, so that was part of it. But I kind of cheated because the other one is Ensley Rain Cosmetics, and I got the Sagittarius palette because I am Sagittarius, you know, couldn't help myself. So there's the Sagittarius palette, and then I also got the newer one, their newest palette, which is the Harvest Moon palette. So, so pretty. But yeah, so this is a brand new brand to me, and actually I do have a code if you're interested in trying them out. It'll save you 10%. It's just Coralie Rose. If you do use my code, I truly appreciate it because I do make a small commission, so it is an affiliated code. But I truly appreciate if you do use that. So thank you very much. But that'll give you a chance to try out the brand if you like. So yeah, so feel free to use it if you like. Thank you. And then, what is your oldest eyeshadow palette or brand? The oldest one to me, I had to go back and forth because it was kind of a funny situation. When I first started off with makeup, I was trying to figure out, you know, I'm researching stuff like what is, you know, a good eyeshadow brand, or who do I start with? When I went to Ulta, they had recommended Urban Decay's Naked 3 palette. So what I did is I purchased the Naked 3. I got it home and I was like, it's okay, but it wasn't, I mean, you know, and I was new to makeup, so I mean, what do I have to go by? But there wasn't enough variation for me. I'm like, for just starting off, I want something that I could, you know, do a couple different looks with, you know, test some new things out, you know? So what I ended up doing is taking that palette back to Ulta, and I traded it for Anastasia Beverly Hills Soft Glam. So this is, I guess, technically, oops, sorry, I always do that. I forget those brushes are in there. So this is technically my oldest palette, or like the first brand that I tried, whatever. But I did shortly after that go back and get the Naked 3 palette. So I guess technically, but I didn't have that one handy. I had this one handy, so I went with this one. But yeah, so that's technically my oldest brand, or the, you know, first brand I tried. So, all right, the next one is your favorite high-end brand. And again, for me, just kind of goes back to the same. I'm just going to show you the same palette because I'm boring like that. Natasha Denona. I would say just overall, whenever she comes out with something, I'm like right there ready to grab it, no matter what it is. I have all of her palettes from the time that I started really getting into makeup. I have all of her eyeshadow palettes, mini, like baby, mini, midi, full size, extra full size, extra large. I have them all that I know of, you know, from the time that I started really getting into makeup. So yeah, she's just one that I always look out for her next launch. I'm always like ready to see what she's got coming out next, you know. So I would have to say Natasha Denona is my favorite high end. Your favorite affordable brand. Now, this was kind of again, one of those ones where I had multiple that I couldn't decide between. So I picked a few. Sorry, I cheated a little bit, but Essence, this is a newer palette to me, but I've been really impressed with their quality. All the eyeshadow palettes that I've gotten over the last year or so, I've had nothing but good luck with them. So I really like Essence. I think they have done really well with their eyeshadows. LA Girl is another one that I just love for affordable eyeshadows. This is one of my favorite palettes altogether. Keep It Playful in Downplay. This is one of my all-time favorite palettes from them. So LA Girl, I think, does eyeshadows really, really well. And then, of course, you can't go without saying ColourPop. I mean, let's just be real. Even though they launch all the time and it's hard to keep up with them, majority of their stuff is really good quality. Now, there's some duds here and there, but like for the most part, as much stuff as they launch constantly, there's a good percentage of their stuff that's good quality and that I really enjoy. So those would be my favorite, you know, affordable brands. Sorry, I cheated a little. All right, short interlude. I'm sorry, I totally forgot number 18, which is my favorite indie brand. How could I forget that? Anyways, there are definitely, you know, a few brands that I love. Of course, I love Adept Cosmetics. We have the Heather Austin palette that I talk about constantly. Love that one. I really do enjoy Simply Posh. This is the newer one, the Genuine Gems. Really, really enjoy them. But if I have to say overall, the first indie brand I ever came across, just my favorite overall, is Sydney Grace. I have the newest one, the Tropicolor, which is in collab with the Fancy Face here on YouTube, Tina. And yeah, so I still have to look at that one and like actually play with that one. But yeah, I have the Be Mine palette, which I've talked about several times. Recently put it in my favorite palettes. Gorgeous palette, love this thing. But yeah, Sydney Grace was the first indie brand that I was ever introduced to. This is the Mel Thompson version of Natasha Denona's Midi Retro Glam palette. So that'll be coming up here soon, my review in comparison with that, if not already by the time you see this. But yeah, I mean, I have tons of the singles. I mean, there's a palette of singles. See how much I love purples. Here's another palette, some purples in there. And then even these, we've got some big palettes. Like these are all just single shadows of hers. I took some out of here because I used them for this other palette to put together. But yeah, I mean, these are, and this is just a portion of it. I have a whole like book of 96 shadows plus some other like smaller empty palette, you know, curations. But yeah, I just love Sydney Grace. Sydney Grace is my girl. Love this brand. Just the aesthetic, the quality, the price is still pretty affordable considering. Just love it. So that would be my favorite indie brand. And back to the regular program. Thanks. All right, what brand do you feel is underrated? And again, kind of goes back to the same, I would say LA Girl. I don't think they get enough love. I really like LA Girl's formula. I think their metallics are really, really good. They really like can go up against a lot of like higher end brands as far as their metallics. I think they're really, really good. So I would have to go with LA Girl. I really like Beach Cosmetics too, but again, with everything going on with them, I don't know if their quality is the same. I don't know. I haven't tried them since the whole bankruptcy thing. So I'm going to stick with LA Girl. And then your overrated brand. And honestly, I'm just going to say any of the luxury higher end. One of them that's a higher end that I just think is overrated is Charlotte Tilbury. I mean, nothing against, but I just think for the price point, I don't know. I just don't, a lot of times don't see anything that special that, you know, just makes her stuff just so expensive. I mean, like, it's just ridiculous. And it's just luxury overall. Like Tom Ford, like really, like, I don't know. I just don't understand paying $90 for this, for a quad. Like, that's just insane. So I think any of these luxury brands are overrated. Guerlain, another one that I've talked about recently. I don't know. Just any of these luxury brands for eyeshadows, I think it's just way, I mean, you're paying for the name, and I think it's just way overrated. So yeah, so that was question 20. That is it. That is the tag. So I would love for you to join in on this tag. I will leave the questions, like I said, down below so that you can, you know, take those and answer the questions how you like. But yeah, let me know. Let me know if any of these caught your attention. If you feel the same with any of these, I'd love to know. So leave me some comments. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe down below. Turn on all notifications. Otherwise, have an amazing day, and I do hope to see you in my next video. Bye! So this is the Eyeshadow Palette Lovers or Eyeshadow Lovers tag. I come up with a little better title than that. All about the eyeshadows. How about that? So for me, I love purples. Purples are my favorite color. Oh, what if like something's tickling my nose? Okay. I love our cream to matte formula. You know what I mean? I think cool toned. I think a lot of chromes, or do you think has like the best multi-chrome? You know what I mean? They had okay, I didn't do too bad with that. All right. It's sad that by 3, 4, 5 videos in, I finally started getting oh, well, whatever. You get it. Okay, gotta go. Got some editing to do and clean up here and whew, at least enjoy some of my day before it's all gone. All right, see you guys next time. Bye.